guys, welcome to Frugal Fun. मेरा नाम सौमी है एंड मैं नॉट सो रिसेंटली जापान गई थी. आज के वीडियो में मैं बताने वाली हूँ हाउ टू प्लान योर ट्रिप टू जापान. Now it's a vast topic and I wanted this to be a sit down chit chat kind of a video जहाँ पे मैं सारी tips and tricks share कर पाऊँ. So I thought of making it in 3 different parts. आज का part जो कि first part है होने वाला है all about my Japan trip budget. Second video is going to be all about different kinds of tips and tricks related to visa, food, public transport, those kind of things. And the third one is going to be about our travel itinerary. Okay, so budget. Firstly, तो मैं ये बता दूँ कि Japan is not a cheap country to travel to. It's the most developed nation in Asia, so obviously things are expensive. And also budget जो है वो different cases में different होता है, different लोगों का different experience होता है. What I'm going to share in today's video is going to be from my experience, but do keep in mind that if you're traveling in a bigger group, then you will have better economies of scale और आपका per person खर्चा इससे कम आएगा. Also, you can cut corners in a lot of places and go down by 10 to 15% of whatever amount I'm going to tell you in this video. Firstly, though, I have all my notes here and I've separated this video into 5 categories of costs. The first one is visa and tickets. So visa के लिए आपको चाहिए about, I think if you apply from India, you have to spend about 1,000 to 1,500 rupees. I applied from Hong Kong. I paid about 3,000 rupees. So on an average, let's say about 2,000 rupees. Then tickets. My brother and my mom were flying from India, from Delhi to be specific. So उन्होंने return ticket के लिए pay किया था about 40,000 Indian rupees. So that's what I'm going to consider for this video. But obviously it can depend. Like the prices can be much higher. Or it can be much lower if you are traveling via another country. 40,000 was a direct flight ka cost to and fro. Second category, talking about accommodation. Now for this, I think on an average, we have spent about 15 to 20,000. Actually, no, I would say about 10 to 20,000 rupees per night. And we have stayed in Airbnbs because we were 4 of us. In just one place, Lake Kawaguchiko में हमने थोड़ा सा splurge किया था because we had a really good view and we had gone for a hotel, so that was a little more expensive. But otherwise, I would say mostly about 10 to 15,000. In some cases, weekend हो गया या Tokyo में जैसे we had to look for a place in the heart of the city, and that's where we had to pay slightly more. So even if I say about 20,000 rupees per night, we were 4 of us, so I'll consider about 5,000 rupees per night per person. And all the calculations that I'm doing is going to be for a 10-day trip. So multiplied by 10, it's going to be about 50,000 Indian rupees. Now third category is transportation. Transportation is not at all cheap in Japan. Firstly, तो आप public transport use करें, taxis use ना करें because बहुत ही ज़्यादा expensive है. I think transportation का main cost है to travel between cities. There are quite a few ways. You can take overnight buses, but they are much longer and you will end up wasting a lot of time. So we went for the JR Pass, which gives you an unlimited number of rides using bullet trains between cities. So it comes in like 7-day, 40-day, 21-day packages. We went for the 7 days one क्योंकि हमारी entire trip ही 10 to 11 days की थी. So we had to pay per person about 20,000 rupees for JR Pass, जिसमें आप unlimited number of fast bullet trains use कर सकते हो. There are some restrictions, but in general you have a lot of options. So हम टोक्यो से हिरोशिमा गए, हिरोशिमा से क्योटो, क्योटो से ओसाका, ओसाका से वापस टोक्यो. सारी जर्नी हमने बुलेट ट्रेन्स के थ्रू करी थी. एंड फॉर द JR पास वी हैड टू पे अबाउट 20,000 इंडियन रुपीज पर पर्सन. उसके अलावा ऑब्वियसली व्हेन यू आर विद इन द सिटी यू हैव टू पे सेपरेटली फॉर सम ऑफ द पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट. कभी के बार आप टैक्सी भी यूज़ करोगे ही टाइम वाइम बचाने के लिए, बसेस यूज़ करोगे. सो ऑन एन एवरेज आई हैव टेकन अबाउट 1,000 इंडियन रुपीज पर पर्सन पर डे. So in total for 10 days it comes out to be 10,000 rupees. Then moving on to the fourth category, which is food. Obviously very important category. यहाँ पे भी कुछ टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स है. अगर आप लोकल फूड ज़्यादा खाओगे दैट्स गोइंग टू बी स्लाइटली चीपर. अगर आप वेस्टर्न फूड खाओगे दैट्स गोइंग टू बी स्लाइटली मोर एक्सपेंसिव. अगर आप कन्वीनियंस स्टोर से फूड खाओगे इज गोइंग टू बी चीपर. बट ऑन एन एवरेज आई थिंक one meal would easily cost you like $10. So thoda sa on the upper side. I've taken it to be like 2000 Indian rupees per day for food per person. So 10 days ki trip mane to that comes out to be about 20,000 Indian rupees. Now please do bear in mind that this, like the food budget can really vary. I think this was approximately what we must have spent. That's about food. The fifth category is an other sightseeing category, like an ad hoc sort of a thing. Honestly, बहुत सारे जगहों पे तुम्हें tickets वगैरह की ज़रूरत नहीं है. The only thing that I can remember we had to pay an entry fee for was Universal Studios in Osaka, which was about 5,000 Indian rupees. उसके अलावा क्योटो में कुछ temples के अंदर हम गए थे, उसमें entry fees थी. So on an average, I have considered it to be 1,000 rupees per day, which is 10,000 for a 10-day trip. Now इन सबको अगर आप add करोगे, visa and tickets first category के लिए है 42,000 rupees, accommodation के लिए 50,000 rupees, transportation 30,000, food 20,000 and other sightseeing about 10,000 rupees. इन सबको मिला के फॉर अ 10-day ट्रिप ऑन एन एवरेज वन पर्सन का खर्चा इज गोइंग टू बी अबाउट 1.5 lakh rupees. I think that's a very average number. If you want to reduce that number, maybe you can reduce it maximum by 15 to 20%. उससे ज़्यादा आप reduce नहीं कर पाओगे जापान में. So anyway, that was the end of part 1 of how to plan a trip to Japan. Hope आप सबको पसंद आई हो. I know that whenever I post about any of my trips for that matter in any of the social media groups, the most common question I get is what was the budget? So that's why I wanted to address the elephant in the room in the first part of this video. Second part of the video is going to be me sharing a lot of tips and tricks across the 5 categories. होप आप सभी को ये वीडियो पसंद आई हो. अगर पसंद आई हो तो प्लीज लाइक कर देना एंड शेयर कर देना विद एनीवन यू थिंक माइट फाइंड दिस वीडियो यूजफुल. सब्सक्राइब जरूर से कर देना बिकॉज आपके लिए फ्री है एंड मेरे लिए थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट हो जाएगा मेरे चैनल को. सो आई विल बी फॉरएवर ग्रेटफुल टू यू. That's it. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मिलते हैं विद पार्ट 2 ऑफ हाउ टू प्लान अ ट्रिप टू जापान. See you then. Bye.